Hi, once again. This is Cynthia Mascarenas with Triumphant and Treasured and the Ministry of Walk with the Widow. We are working our way through this book, Widows Are Warriors, A Walk Through the Wilderness of Widowhood. We've talked about physical pain, emotional pain, the impact of grief on our health. We've talked about the spiritual impact of grief. And today, I'd like to talk about God's response to my grief. It may seem like God is far out there in this distant world, just looking at you and watching your struggles and watching you grieve, and He's being very hands off. You feel a disconnect from Him. Maybe you feel like you're not getting through to Him. Maybe you feel like He cares, but for some reason, you can't feel it. There are just so many responses to God's presence in your life when you're grieving. Sometimes it can feel more like God's absent. And so where is God in the midst of all of this? What is He doing? It took me a long time to learn that my view of God was changing, or I was struggling with aligning it with what I've always known God to be. But it's not because God changed. It's because I was looking at Him through a broken lens, through the broken lens of grief. And when you look at something through a broken lens, what you're seeing is a distorted image. The distorted image is a reflection of the broken lens. It's not a reflection of the person you are viewing or the object you're viewing. And so hence God has not changed. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever, as the scriptures say it. It just doesn't feel so to you because you are not the same. Your heart is broken. Your life is shattered. And everything feels different. So where is God? He's still right there. He's still very much present. God is still a stronghold in your life. He is in the valley of death with you. He has not left. Your need for Him is greater. Your pain is greater. And so God is still a very, very personal God who has not walked out on you and never will. The challenge with all of this is understanding how and why God can allow some things to happen in your life. It's very hard for us to understand the will of God. And sometimes we can say, God, why did you do this to us? When in reality, oftentimes, it could be that God allowed this to happen. Life and death are two sides of a coin. If you were born, you will die. It's inevitable. So there's, no question about, we know somebody is going to die. We just didn't want it to be when it happened or the way it happened. And we don't get to choose the whys in the house. But God does have His will on our lives. He has His decretive will, where something happens because He said it was going to be so. And at other times, it's His permissive will, where He said, I'm going to allow this to happen. We can't always distinguish between the two unless we can see a distinctive hand, a human hand, in the death of our spouse. At the end of it all, it does boil down to God's omniscience and His omnipotence. There is nothing in this world that God could not have stopped from happening. And therein lies the challenge. Like, okay, God, even if you allowed this, if you didn't make this to happen, but you allowed it to happen, I still have a problem with that. That is where we struggle with knowing where is God. And God is being God. That's who He is. We don't get to question. We won't get to understand. But you will come to a place of surrender, and you'll come to a place of accepting that God's plans and purposes are far beyond your understanding or mine, and His ways are far greater than ours. Thank you for letting us walk alongside with you as you read the chapters in this book that pertain to God's response to your grief, and you navigate the questions. I pray that you would find peace on this grief journey. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next video.